Hey guys, we're back with the final on the Revell 148 scale, Charles Lindbergh, Spirit of St. Louis. Plane that he flew plumb nonstop from New York to Paris in 1927 on a solo flight. You all know the story, probably seen the movies, you know how it goes. Um, Overall, this is a pretty good kit. It was only a skill level 2, I believe it was. Um, Very straightforward on the build. The only real issues I had were the putting the decals on the nose, which gets wallpapered on that front turned aluminum section and on the propeller hub. And it was just from having never done that set before. If I did it again, I would know where to trim a little extra from and to get them lay down a little smoother than what they did, but they turned out pretty well. Especially the one on the top of the nose. Would have cut that one in 2/3 to lay it out, because there's so many convex curves it's got to go around that it would have laid out smoother. We used for paint, we used Tamiya titanium silver for the main fuselage silver dope color, and we used Tamiya chrome silver underneath the turned aluminum decal, and for the prop and the engine cowling. Used the grimy black to do the wheels, tires. Painted most of the engine using Sharpies, the silver Sharpie and gold Sharpie. Base coated it with the just the plain silver tester's paint, and then did a black wash with the grimy black on the engine manifolds to bring out the details there. It's a really nicely detailed engine. All the push rods come as a separate piece. You've got the carburetor with its piping that is a separate piece. I believe this was tooled in 2005. I know this kit was. I think the last time they released it was in 2010. But it's the same kit for either release. I didn't think they changed anything on either one. We've got I'll have to show it in the still pics. It's got a nice interior for the cockpit with decal for the instrument panel that shows the periscope, and then it's got all the piping for the fuel transfer valves that he had to use to keep the plane balanced while he was flying across the Atlantic, so he could drain fuel from one tank to another to keep the wings level and whatnot. I could waffle on probably all day long about Lindbergh. He was just an amazing man in the world of aviation. Did tons of stuff. Worked for the U.S. government as a contractor during World War II, and without the government's knowledge or approval, actually flew combat missions with the squadrons that he was assigned to help them get. He was assigned to the squadron to help them increase their fuel efficiency, and he actually went up and flew combat missions with the squadrons without Washington's knowing so and approval, and helped them greatly extend their range and their fuel economy. And that was both the P-38 and the P-47 that he did that with. For sure, I know he may have done some work with other aircraft, but for those two, I know he did for sure. The Spirit of St. Louis, of course, is in the Smithsonian. Air and Space Museum in Washington, D.C. And next year is the 90th anniversary of the flight. Over the winter, they had lowered it from the ceiling to do some restoration work on the Spirit, and they were also doing some rehabbing in the building. So for a couple of months, it was actually down on the ground, and you could get within 2 or 3 feet of it, see it up close and personal. But now it's back up in the ceiling. There are a couple of excellent reproductions, copies, whatever you want to call it, around the country. I know here in St. Louis, where I live, at Lindbergh International Airport, they have a replica of the Spirit of St. Louis in the airport hanging, along with several other aircraft, which are really kind of cool. But we're in the waffle zone, so we'll cut this off. We'll show some still pictures at the end of the build. And this was actually would have been a quick build, but my work schedule is 10 minutes here, 15 minutes there, and then with the weather, it took forever for my paint to dry and set up. Even using the Tamiyas, which are alcohol based, which set pretty quickly. When you got time to do the clears and whatnot, it just took forever. So that's it for the Revell 148th Spirit of St. Louis. Hope you guys have a good night, good day, good evening. We'll see you on the next build, which I'm not exactly sure what it'll be yet. But when I know, you'll know. Have a good night.